give introduction about today's speaker, Vrindavan Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji can take over.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. His Grace Vrindavan Prabhuji is a postgraduate of Commerce and Business Management in India. He gave up his high-paying job to serve humanity. In his young age, he served in RSS and Vishwa Hindu Parshad by opening a school for the blind, an orphanage, and hospitals. He first came in contact with ISKCON in 1974, and understanding that spreading the true message of Bhagavad Gita is the highest welfare activity. He joined as a full-time preacher in 1985. For over 30 years, he has done many valuable services, including temple president, traveling Sankirtan party leader, head pujari, temple commander, brahmachari, training program leader, congregational preacher, padayatra coordinator, spiritual mentor, and accountant. He is a senior disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami. Under his guidance, he has opened many preaching centers in ISKCON and developed them into successful congregational preaching centers. He is also well known for his 7-day Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam discourses, which were attended by thousands of people. Many brahmacharis and families have joined Krishna consciousness in ISKCON through his preaching. At present, Prabhuji stays with his family in Pune, India, and he travels all over India, America, and Europe, preaching the message of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, welcome to the call. Hare Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, we welcome you for this Bhagavatam class. Dandavas Pranam, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Today's Srimad Bhagavatam class will be on the topic from the Shloka 5.1.28 and 29. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, you can take over the call.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity once again to serve all of you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय मित्रा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Canto 5, Chapter 1, the activities of Maharaj Priyavrata. The slokas are not in line to recite them together, so I'll just read them. Anyasyamapi jayayam trayaha putra asannuttaustamasau raitva iti manvantara dhipatayaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. In his other wife, Maharaj Priyavrata begot 3 sons named Uttama, Tamasa, and Raivat. All of them later took charge of Manvantara millennium. Purport: in every day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. The duration of one Manvantara, the lifespan of one Manu, is 71 yugas, and each yuga is 4,320,000 years. Almost all the Manus selected to rule the Manvantaras came from the family of Maharaj Priyavrata. 3 of them are particularly mentioned herein, namely Uttama, Tamasa, and Raivat. Text number 29. Evam upashamayaneshu stavanayeshvatha jagati patir jagati marbudad nikadaksha परिवत्सराणां व्यताहितखिल पुरुषकाश समृतदोर दंड युगल पिलिमितौर मौर्वी गुणस्तिनन विरमित धर्म प्रतिपक्षो बर्हिष्मत्याश्चानुदिनमेघानां प्रमोद प्रसरणयो क्षीण विडां प्रमुषितहास अवलोक रुचिस्वेल्याधिभिः परा भूयमान विवेक इवानवमुधभ्यान इव महामनबुभुजे. The translation. When it comes to translation, yes. After Kavi, Mahavira, and Savana were completely trained in the Paramahamsa stage of life, Maharaj Priyavrata ruled the universe for 11 arbudas of years. Whenever he was determined to fix his arrow upon his bowstring with his 2 powerful arms, all opponents of the regulative principles of religious life would flee from his presence in fear of the unparalleled prowess he displayed in ruling the universe. He greatly loved his wife Barhismati, and with the increase of days, their exchange of repeated love also increased. By her feminine behavior, as she dressed herself, walked, got up, smiled, laughed, and glanced about, Queen Barhishmati increased his energy. Thus, although he was a great soul, he appeared lost in the feminine conduct of his wife. He behaved with her just like an ordinary man, but actually, he was a great soul. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In these words, the word Dharma Pratipaksha, opponents of religious principles, refers not to a particular faith, but to Varnashram Dharma, the division of society socially and spiritually into 4 Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and 4 ashrams, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, to maintain proper social order and help the citizens gradually progress towards the goal of life, namely spiritual understanding. The principles of Varnashram Dharma must be accepted. From this verse, Maharaj Priyavrata appears to have been so strict in maintaining this institution of Varnashram Dharma that anyone neglecting it would immediately flee from his presence as soon as the king warned him by fighting or administering light punishment. Indeed, Maharaj Priyavrata would not have to fight for simply because of his strong determination, They dared not disobey the rules and regulations of Varnashram Dharma. It is said that unless human society is regulated by Varnashram Dharma, it is no better than a bestial society of cats and dogs. Maharaj Priyavrata therefore strictly maintained Varnashram Dharma by his extraordinary unparalleled prowess. To maintain such a life of strict vigilance, one needs encouragement from his wife. In the Varnashram Dharma system, certain classes such as Brahmanas and Sannyasis do not need encouragement from the opposite sex. Kshatriyas and Grahasthas, however, actually need the encouragement of their wives in order to execute their duties. Indeed, a Grahastha or a Kshatriya cannot properly execute his responsibilities without the association of his wife. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally admitted that a Grahastha must live with a wife. Kshatriyas were even allowed to have many wives to encourage them in discharging the duties of government. The association of a good wife is necessary in the life of karma and political affairs. To execute his duties properly, therefore Maharaj Priyavrata took advantage of his good wife Barhismati, who was always very expert in pleasing her great husband by properly dressing herself, smiling, and exhibiting her feminine bodily features. Queen Barhismati always kept Maharaj Priyavrata very encouraged, and thus he executed his governmental duties very properly. In this verse, Iva has been twice been used to indicate that Maharaj Priyavrata acted exactly like a henpecked husband and thereby seemed to have lost his senses. Lost his senses of human responsibility. Actually, however, he was fully conscious of his position as a spirit soul. Although he seemingly behaved like an acquiescent Karmi husband, Maharaj Priyavrata thus ruled the universe for 11 arbudas of years. One arbuda consists of 100 million years. And Maharaj Priyavrata ruled the universe for 11 such arbudas. Om Adhyana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in this wonderful chapter of activities of Maharaj Priyavrata, we are reading how Priyavrata was engaged first for protecting the religious principles of the whole world, and his background, he is a family man, he is a Kshatriya who is staying with his wife Barhismati, and how his wife pleased him in feminine way so that he can perform his religious duty and Kshatriya duty perfectly. So, Shukadeva Goswami, in the beginning of this chapter, the question of Parikshit Maharaj, as we have heard it, Parikshit Maharaj is asking this Priyavrata is trained like a renounced person by Narad Muni, and he don't wanted to accept a Grihastha ashram, but his father Swayambhuva Manu requested him. Still he was not willing to take the responsibility because there was no qualified king. So therefore Swayambhuva Manu was urging Priyavrat to take the responsibility to become a king. But because of the training which he has acquired from Narada Muni, he was reluctant to become a Grihastha. And therefore, Parikshit Maharaj is asking this question, how is it that is such a exalted, renounced personality who is completely renounced this material world, how he get entangled again in spite of having such a knowledge of suffering of this material world and dualities of this material world and miseries of this material world. He had complete knowledge about all these things from his guru Narada Muni. And again, why he is getting entangled. So to answer that, Shukadeva Goswami as is narrating what Priyavrat is doing and why he is doing, why he became a king. And the very last sentence of this translation, we see he behaved with her just like an ordinary man, but actually he was a great soul. Now it is very confusing how someone can be a great soul and still be acting like a henpecked husband in the hands of Parhismati. These are two completely contradictory statements or contradictory behaviors. Either you can be renounced or you can be a king, but you cannot be together. No, it is how, that is the question of Parikshit Maharaj. So Shukadeva Goswami is explaining that on the request of Brahma, see, sometimes we have a problem in our spiritual life too, who to listen to. So similarly, Priyavrat also had the same issue, who to listen. Now Narad Muni have told him to remain celibate, but here his father comes and requests him to become Grihastha, and he is denying it. But seeing the necessity, Brahma appears on the scene. And Brahma is the father of, he is the Acharya of Sampradaya. He is the father even of Swayambhuva Manu and great-grandfather of Priyavrat. So now Brahma is coming and explaining that if you do not rule the kingdom, there is no one. So therefore, you need to take the responsibility. And one of the instructions Brahma, I'll just read from Bhagavatam, is telling to Priyavrat, my dear prince, if one is not self-controlled, he must always fear material bondage, even if he goes from forest to forest, because he is living with 6 co-wives, the mind and the senses. This is very important. So renunciation doesn't mean that you leave the general social life and go to the forest. Because here Brahmaji is saying, then he goes to the forest, but he has with 6 co-wives. He left one wife in the home to become renounced. But now he is acting with the association or controlled by the 6 co-wives. So what are these 6 co-wives? So this is 6 anarthas, kama, krodha, mada, lobha, moha, and matsar, lust, greed, anger, etc. So these are the 6 wives. So one wife you leave who is controlling you, you become free from that, and then you go to forest and you get controlled by these 6 co-wives. So Brahma is saying, so one who is not self-controlled, he cannot be self-controlled even if he stays alone. Mind will disturb him there, and all these 6 wives will disturb him. On the other hand, even household life cannot harm a self-satisfied person who has conquered his senses. Indeed, one who is situated in household life and systematically conquers his mind and senses is like a king in his fortress who defeats his powerful enemies. So now this is about the perfect Grihasthashram. Now Brahma is explaining one who has conquered his senses, especially his mind. Such person, no matter where he goes, he is self-controlled. Ihayasya harirdaser karmana manasa gira nikhilashva api avasteshu jivan muktasa uchyate. Now, ihayasya harirdaser. The devotee of Krishna, karmana manasa gira, with his activities, mind and body, even though he apparently or externally seems to be engaged in this material world, in social life, Nikhilashva api avasteshu, because of his elevated Krishna consciousness, Jivan muktasa uchyate, he is free from the bondage of this material world. So externally, the activities look the same of a person who is in Krishna consciousness and who is not in Krishna consciousness. But one who is renounced and one who is completely entangled. Even we see in the war of Mahabharata, there is no difference in material possessions of Pandavas and Kauravas. Both have armies, number may be less or more. Both have armors, all the weapons. Both have chariots, and everything Pandavas have, Duryodhana also have. So what is the difference? The difference is what they are doing with what they have. So externally, Duryodhana's mind was material. So he chose Krishna's Narayan Sena. So he got it. But Arjuna, he knew Krishna. So wherever there is Krishna, there is Dharma. So number is less. But Krishna, he is above all the numbers. As Prabhupada explains, many zeros have no value. But if you put one, then every zero adds a value. So similarly, higher sense, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, he says, I am not a Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, Sannyasi, householder. I am just simply Das, 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 Anudas. Gopi Bhartur Padakamlayor. I am simply the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis, those who are engaged in Krishna's service. So this is the highest consciousness and highest principle and goal of all ashrams. So Varnashrama Vibhagasa. So this is the Varnashram. All the 4 ashrams and 4 varnas are meant to Sanusitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. So purpose of all these ashrams, purpose of all these varnas is to samsiddhir haritoshanam. So toshanam, haritoshanam is most important. Pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Supreme Personality of Godhead in this world is pleased by pleasing our spiritual master, especially, and our Vaishnavas. So here, Manu is a Vaishnava, Swayambhu Manu is also a Vaishnava, Brahma is a Vaishnava, Priyavrata is a Vaishnava, Narada is a Vaishnava. So they have one issue, they are giving contradictory instructions. So Priyavrata is how he is deciding to keep away the instructions given by his spiritual trainer or spiritual master Narada Muni and accepting Brahma's instruction to become a Grihastha. Now this is very, very extraordinary incident. Very extraordinary incidents in the sense that very rarely a person who is renounced, who wants to be renounced, he is asked to take Grihastha life. Many Grihasthas we have seen, they have gone to Sannyas ashram. But it is very rare to see any strict renounced person like Priyavrata coming back to coming back to the material world or coming back to Grihastha ashram. Very, very, very rare case. So why it is very rare? Because Brahma, the higher authority, higher than the Narada, he is the father of Narada Muni too. So Narada Muni, even though he is not happy, but he agrees. Why he agrees? Because he knows the Priyavrata's heart. No matter where Priyavrata goes, externally, he may appear to be worldly man or like an ordinary Grihastha, but in his heart, he is renounced. He knows the purpose of life. He knows how much to get entangled into, just like fire. So, according to Bhagavat, woman is considered as fire and men is considered as butter. Very opposite characteristics. Butter cannot stay with fire, it will burn. So therefore, the Grihastha ashram is given. So what is this Grihastha ashram? Is like a pot. So if you put that butter in a pot and fire turns that butter into more perfect stage, into ghee, there is no direct contact. So what is that? Grihastha ashram means that is Krishna consciousness is there. So that fire is not burning the butter. Otherwise, if the pot is not there, what will happen? That butter will go into the fire and fire will burn more. So this Krishna consciousness, Grihastha training is like a pot, and that is proper Grihastha ashram. So woman can be as a woman, man can be as a man, even though they have completely contradictory bodily features or attractions are there. But still, if the pot is there, as long as the pot is there, being together will turn it into a ghee, higher purpose. So that is what is Brahma is explaining to Priyavrata. And he's saying that after having controlled his lust by training in Grihastha ashram, one can move freely anywhere without danger. Therefore, you should fix your mind firmly upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and accept whatever material enjoyment he has ordained for you. So Brahma is convincing Priyavrata that because you are trained by Narada Muni, how to control the sex desire. So therefore, you know how to use this sex desire in a proper way. And this is at the beginning of creation in Satya Yuga, where just imagine the description of Priyavrata, just seeing his bow and arrow, the whole world was following religious principles. And what was his duty? To make sure that everyone follows religious principles. Just the king is there, that was sufficient for everyone. Compared to Kali Yuga, if somebody comes and tells us follow religious principles, we will tell you do not have right to interfere in my individual or my personal life. You are a king, just manage your kingdom. You have no authority to enter in everybody's family life. But actually, king is supposed to be the representative of Krishna in this material world. And it is his duty to make sure that everyone practices Krishna consciousness. So therefore, Prabhupada, in the beginning of this chapter, beginning of the purport, he is emphasizing dharma pratipakshaha. Priyavrata is not becoming a king for particular dharma as we understand now. Now, if anybody say dharma, which is not appropriate to translate as religion, as Prabhupada says, dharma means constitutional position. Like a chili's constitutional position is to be hot, and sugar's constitutional position is to be sweet. So, if we consider we are soul, our constitutional position is to serve Krishna. So, this is dharma, but not what we today call as dharma, like Hindu, Christian, Buddha, Jewish, Muslim, or whatever. So many Christians, so many so-called dharmas are there. They are external. But the dharma, as mentioned here, dharma pratipakpalaka, he protected the religious principles, means he protected the religious principles of varnashrama. So this is called varnashrama dharma or Sanatan dharma or Vedic dharma or Bhagavad dharma. This is not a Hindu dharma, as Prabhupada explains. Prabhupada, I was just listening to one lecture just recently. Prabhupada says that Krishna don't say that yada yada hi Hindu dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. I will appear only when there is a Hindu dharma has a glani. Or he doesn't say that Hindu dharma samsthapanarthaya, I am coming to establish Hinduism. So Krishna is saying dharma samsthapanarthaya. So, of course, previously when Gita was spoken, there was no another external, even religious, any other religions were there. No Christianity, no Hinduism, no Buddhism, nothing was there. So he was talking about the dharma of the soul, constitutional position of the soul, and principles of Varnashram dharma are there to help us to practice that principle of Krishna consciousness. And that is why these four varnas are and four ashrams. So every ashram has a contradictory engagements. See, brahmachari and sannyasi, they are supposed to celebrate, but grihasthas are allowed to have association of women in a restricted way, and vanaprastha, he can be with a woman, but no physical association. So there are, but what is the purpose of it? Is slowly renounce and slowly become detached. That is the purpose of the ashram, not to just stay entangled. So Purushartha also, according to Vedic principles, Purushartha also is there. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So first comes Dharma. So if you are properly trained in dharma, which is in brahmacharya ashram, properly trained in principles of dharma, then artha, then you are allowed to earn money. And if you are trained in proper dharma, then you know how to earn the money. And then kama, because without money there is no kama. So kama, sensual enjoyment is there. That is also you are trained in brahmacharya ashram. How far you should go. You should know the limit of sense enjoyment. And finally, your sense enjoyment also bring you to the degree, to the conclusion of moksha, to give up everything, to free from everything, and go back home, back to Godhead. So this is the ladder given to Pancha, this Purushartha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has more than that. Pancham Purushartha is the Prema Purtu Mahan. So develop the love of God. So if that training is there, and this is the king makes all arrangements, and this all arrangement is made through gurukuls. Therefore, in Vedic culture, the temples are education society. All this knowledge is given in temple. Even today, in some part of India, you can see this system of gurukul through the temple is there. The temple takes care of these gurukuls and where they are trained in dharma, brahmacharya, and all these principles of Krishna consciousness. But unfortunately, this is Kali Yuga. The basic thing is the education is not there. So it completely topsy-turvy. You cannot see this kind of education anywhere in the world. So this was the duty, and Brahma, he saw this as a qualification, not as an impediment. And therefore he told Priyavrat, do not worry, because you are trained properly. He respected his guru, Narada. You are trained properly to be a celibate. No matter in whatever condition you go, you will be still protected. So here, Priyavrat is exhibiting all those characteristics. How the training he got in brahmacharya ashram, even though in grihastha ashram, he knows where to stop. He knows, just like the butter and fire again, how much fire should be put for how much butter. So even if the pot is there, if the fire is more than the pot, still the butter will burn. So we have to make sure that pot size is okay for the fire. So therefore, how much fire has to be properly there to cook the butter into ghee. So similarly, the principles trained especially sense control, and in sense control, sex control. So in modern world, people talk about we should give sex education. Yes, it is true. We should give sex education. In Vedic culture, 25 years sex education was given. It is not that it is not given, but how to control the sex desire, not how to exploit each other's bodily parts. That training was not given. Vedic culture, sex education is given to control the senses, not to exploit or not to over-enjoy, not to get entangled or not to be completely entrapped in those activities of sensual pleasure. So you should be knowing where to stop and how to keep our focus in everyday practice of Krishna consciousness. And that is the training of brahmachari. So Priyavrata is properly trained. So therefore here you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada explains, Grihastha means he has to stay with his wife. He has to stay with his wife. Grihasthas cannot imitate brahmacharis or sannyasis. Sometimes, many times in my travel in the temple, brahmacharis, they accept grihastha ashram. And many times I go, their wife complain, He is brahmachari. He was brahmachari, he accepted grihastha, but in home he wants to live like a brahmachari. Then why did he got married? So this is the problem, So they do not know why he got married, So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you should stay with your wife. Now, Priyavrat, Brahma is so confident about Priyavrat character and his conviction about the purpose of life, that even if he becomes a king, even if he has a wife, she will not be entangled. So this is a nature of a devotee, because he knows there is higher purpose than any ashram, even then more than sannyas ashram. We have another very, very rare example of Nityananda Prabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now Nityananda Prabhu at very early age, he left home with a sannyasi, he traveled and he became a sannyasi. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, came to Jagannath Puri, Nityananda Prabhu was there. He met again in Navadvip. He was a sannyasi. And then he came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Katwa, took sannyas. Then Nityananda Prabhu came to know. And he brought him to Advaitacharya's house and broke his danda. And then he said, wow, there is no need of sannyas for you. And then he comes and stays with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. Now Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to South India Yatra, and then he comes back. And then he says, Nityananda, he calls him in his room and holds his hand. And he says, Nityananda, I want you to go to preach in Bengal. And for preaching, I want you to get married. Now Nityananda says, is it not improper for a sannyasi to become a grihastha? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, without you, nobody is able to do this service. I have taken sannyas, and because I have promised my mother, I am staying in Jagannath Puri. And because of my sannyas ashram, I cannot mingle with, interact with many orders of social life like grihasthas and especially householders, those who are engaged in family business. So who is going to deliver them? So I want you to get married. This is very rare on Nityananda Prabhu as a sannyasi. Now he don't question Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, if this is so important, why did you get sannyas? Why did you took sannyas? In fact, your first wife left this world, you got married. And within 1 year, you just took sannyas, leaving your widowed wife, leaving your widowed mother and your wife. Now Nityananda Prabhu didn't sit there and argue. He just accepted. This is the desire of the Lord. And therefore, the desire of the Lord is superior to any other ashrams. Now, if you see, materially gopis were, they are grihasthas, but they are not supposed to go and see a person who is not their husband, but they did that. Completely contradictory to the social etiquette. They went and met Krishna, who is a young boy, in the middle of the night. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, pleasing Krishna is the highest principle. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj, he is speaking lie. Why? Because pleasing Krishna. So Narova Kunjurova, So in Mahabharata we see this, because pleasing Krishna. But it is very sensitive under the direction of the superior authority. These things can be considered and done, as Parikshit Maharaj is doing. So this is the principle of this activities of Priyavrat. And this is the way, Parikshit Maharaj, whose question was, is how he is accepting the opulence. Opulence means it is detrimental to spiritual life. Sense gratification, and that is opulence, and renunciation cannot go together. But higher principle is, as Prabhupada gives a simple example, that if I find $50 or rupees on the road, first thing is the sense enjoyer, he picks it up and enjoys for his own purpose. Second person who is renounced, this is not my money, I'm not going to touch it. He just leaves it there. And third person, he picks up that packet and sees the name and address of that person, and he goes it, takes it and gives it to that person. So Krishna consciousness is like this. You neither enjoy nor renounce. You use it for whoever it is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. And that is done under the superior authority of Guru, a spiritual master. So therefore, a spiritual master is so important. And the instruction of the spiritual master is so important. So this is the activity of Priyavrat. Now there is another side. You can see there are many grihasthas. Externally, just like Priyavrat, his wife is attracting Priyavrat with her feminine features. So as Prabhupada explains here, Kshatriyas, they need encouragement from their wives, or grihasthas, they need encouragement from their wives. So it is necessary for a wife to make sure that a husband is to practicing the religious principles. Therefore, in Srimad Bhagavatam, wife is called as a fortress, the protector, because any attack of comes on in the heart of, in mind of husband, a wife is there to support. No, it is not giving sense enjoyment. The supporting him emotionally, more than physical, it is emotional support is there. So that support, wife, always gives happiness to her husband by following his path and encouraging him in following the path of religious principles and helping him and slowly becoming free from the attachment of this material world. That's the duty of a wife. In Tukaram Maharaj, he says in one of his Abhanga, there is a Patni, means religious wife. If she do not act as a religious wife, she becomes the cause Patani. Patani means falling down. So Patni is proper Sanskrit word for a wife, which means who is helping her husband in the religious principles. If she do not act like that, then what happens? Patani. She becomes the cause of his fall down. So that is the great responsibility of a woman, or those who have accepted the role of wife, to support and keep protected from the onslaughts of Maya, the husband, and emotionally, and giving him support in all ways, and practicing religious principles. Now there are, you see, among the 12 Mahajan, the 7 are grihasthas, like Prahlad Maharaj, who was grihastha for many years. Dasharath Maharaj, Janaka, and Yama is a grihastha, Shiva is a grihastha. So there is no impediment. Ashram is not an impediment in advancing Krishna consciousness. And we can see there are so many grihasthas in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. Especially we hear about Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And when he was in Jagannath Puri, Gadadhar Pandit Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day was crying. Oh, Pundarik, Pundarik, where are you? I cannot stay without your association. So Gadadhar was surprised. Who is this Pundarik? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in such an highest ecstasy. And how, otherwise he is calling Krishna and Radhe, and now he's calling Pundarik, Pundarik. So he asked Gadadhar, he asked Mukunda, who is this Pundarik? Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is crying? Why he wants to be with Pundarik? I want to see him. I want to meet him. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the greatest of a sannyasi, and if he is crying, that person must be greater than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If he is crying, so he saw, Gadadhar was so impressed and he said, I want to see. So he went with Mukunda. He came to, house of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And when they came, we have an idea about what devotee is. Suppose if you go to anybody's house, even today, if you see any grihastha with a nicely combed hair, with scented oil and nicely silken clothes, with a lot of makeups, and he's chewing the betel nuts, and if you see him sitting on a very opulent sofa, and he's like a very sense enjoyer, you will be confused. So Mukunda, when he saw Gadadhar, he came to see Gadadhar, and the Gadadhar was, his hairs were, they're properly, oil was there on his hair, scented oil, and all his face was decorated, and he had a betel leaf in his mouth, and he was wearing silken clothes, and then he was sitting on silken sofa, opulent, and then Gadadhar, in his heart, he had that doubt. He said, how come you tell, he's, did you bring me to any wrong person? And he's thinking like that. He didn't say anything. Knowing what is going on in the mind of Gadadhar, Mukunda, who is a beautiful singer, Sanjaya, Mukunda, Vasu Ghosh, Adi guy, is one of the Ghosh brothers, Mukunda Ghosh. Mukunda, he is singing. And when Mukunda started singing this beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Aho Bakiyam Sanakalakutam Jigham Sayaya Dapi Yasadvi Levegatin Raditam Atmayam Kimva Dayalum Paramam Rajema. This is a verse when Krishna delivers Putana. Said, who can be so kind as Krishna? Putana came to him with the cruel purpose of killing him, but making him suck at her breast, which are covered with poison. Now yet, he gave her the same position after death in the spiritual world as he would to his nurse, to whose feet therefore should we surrender except him. How I can give up the shelter of such a kind and compassionate and benevolent person like Krishna, who gives the position of a nurse or a mother to a lady, Putana, who came to kill him. And as Mukunda was reciting this verse in his beautiful voice, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he just became mad. He started ripping up his clothes and his hair started spreading, ripping up his madness of Krishna consciousness, and he started rolling on the floor, and he's saying, Krishna, Krishna, who can be more merciful than you? Who can be more merciful than you? So Gadadhar Pandit realized his mistake. So it is not an external situation that makes you devotee. We may be having tilak, a nice dhoti kurta, nice kantimala, nice speed bag, but if our heart is, these are the signs of a devotee. This is external. We can make fool anybody, being external devotee. But what is internal? How much we are attracted to Krishna. That is real renunciation. So externally, it may be in Grihasthashram. Sometimes, like Bhishma, you see, he is a devotee, pure devotee, but he is in the opposite party of Krishna because of some social circumstances. But these are very, very rare occasions, or rare examples are there. So another example we can see Parikshit Maharaj, who is a king. Name Parikshit he got because he always examines. If it is not related with Krishna, you don't accept it. So now he is a king. He has many wives, who has opulent palace because he is a king. Everything. Just imagine what king can have, and that's not in Kali Yuga. So, but as he heard that he is cursed to die in 7 days. Now he didn't go back to his family or to his kingdom to meet his friend. No, he immediately went to the bank of Ganges and immediately started hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And Shukadeva Goswami glorifies him. And he said that Parikshit Maharaj is such a king, and now he has given up everything, which is very difficult to give up. Atmajaya Sutagara Pashu Dravina Bandhushu Rajye cha avikale nityam virudha mamata juho. He said Atmajaya, his own wife, his relatives, Suta, his sons, Agara, his palace and all the property, Atmajaya Sutagara, Pashu, all the animals like cows, bulls, elephants, horses, this is the property. Suta, Agara, Pashu, Dravina. Dravina is all the money, all the opulences. Rajya, how difficult, especially you people in America have seen how difficult to give up the chair, very difficult. Rajya, to give up the kingdom. So, very difficult to give up. He said, Rajya. And not only he is a king of one country, he is the king of the whole universe. There was no one above him. So he gave up Rajya. And this word is particularly important. Avikale, without any disturbance. We may give up, but we'll be disturbed. Will be because of our attachment. Anybody will give up because forcibly everybody gives up. Avikale, without any disturbance. He gave up all these things. And why? Virudha Mamata Juho, because he has that deep, deep, deep attachment to Krishna in his heart. So Krishna consciousness is a matter of heart, not the head. How much knowledge we have to serve Krishna, how much practically we are engaged. And so much you become devotee of Krishna, automatically your attraction for this material world, he just reduces, in the sense that you start seeing everything in relationship with Krishna. And Krishna is the real enjoyer. In Chaitanya we see Prataprudra. Prataprudra, he wanted to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Vishayi, he's a sense gratifier, king, I'm not going to see him. So they tried. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Nityanand Prabhu, so many people tried. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was not accepting. Then Prataprudra says, just to have the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will have the sign of renunciate the earrings, and I will renounce everything, and I, I will, if it takes to renounce everything, I will do that. He was ready to do that, and that is the price we have to give to attract the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was attracted to Prataprudra for his humility. Because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went through South India, he met Ramananda Rai, who was the king under Prataprudra. And he gave up the kingdom, and he told Prataprudra that I will not be able to take care of that part of your kingdom. So please relieve me from all the responsibilities. Now I have come to Jagannath Puri to stay with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prataprudra says, "You are so fortunate. I'm staying in Jagannath Puri. I'm hankering, lamenting that I do not get the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You're so fortunate. I immediately relieve you. Go and associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Stay with him. And not only that, I will keep your salary as it is. Many devotees will think that, oh, I should get such an employer. Go to temple, I will pay you still money. I'll pay you salary." So Prataprudra was so kind to Ramananda Rai. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it melts the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, he took broom in his hand, and he became not only externally. Now, every Ratha Yatra we call some people, some mayor or chief minister, they come and, they take the golden color broom, and they do it for 5 minutes, and then they're engaged again in their. This is just an external. And Prataprudra was not like that. In his heart, he was thinking, I'm a beggar. I'm a sweeper in front of Jagannath. I'm the lowest of the lower. It is not just like a 5 minute you do this seva, and for today you get this, do these things to get publicity. You get a picture taken and published in the newspaper, and oh, he got such thing. But Prataprudra was not like that. He didn't go there to take pictures or something. He did there to show his clean heart. And that is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got attracted. So internal renunciation is more important than external. So these are the rare cases in the scriptures we see. But the point we can take from here is the order of the spiritual master or the higher authority, and developing that inner renunciation, not considering that family life is an impediment, or it's like a detrimental to become advancement in Krishna consciousness. So we can learn from these examples of Privat Maharaj and so many of our, like Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who is the greatest of the Grihasthas. He is saying, in what consciousness, Grohe Thakur, Vane Thakur, Sada Hari Bole Thakur, whether we are staying in a forest or in home, but how Manasa Deha Geha, are offered, Arpilo Tuapade Nanda Kishore, my mind, my body, and Geha, my house, I have offered it at your lotus feet. So this is how the renunciation will develop in our heart. So I would like to stop here. I think, I hope I didn't go beyond my time. Hare Krishna. Is anybody awake?
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Go.
Prabhuji, thank you so much. Very beautiful class. Yeah, it was really very nice points about the Grahastha life, how important it is to be in the Grahastha life, to help the Maharajas, Sannyasi Maharajas. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for bringing out so many valuable points.
Hare Krishna.
And I request any devotees, if they have any questions, they can ask now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. Prabhuji, this is
Yes.
Vivek from Baltimore.
Yes, Vivek Prabhu, I could hear you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a very nice class. You explained about the importance of all ashrams and the common goal that all ashrams have. Prabhuji, the question I have from the purport is, please pardon my ignorance. It states that Priyavat Maharaj, he ruled the entire planet for one followed by 60 years.
Yes.
Can you please explain how? I mean, Satya Yuga is not that many years, right? Or he ruled more than one yuga? If you can.
Yes. So see, when we hear about these manus, there are 14 manus in each day of Brahma. So yuga is not considered there. At that time, yugas are also going into those cycles. Okay, that is included. And as you know, Kali Yuga is many times more than Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga, I mean, is more than any yuga. At this point, I do not have that exact calculation with me. But these 14 manus are there in one day of Brahma.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So thank you all very much for, even though I'm not qualified, you still keep on giving me opportunity. So you're very tolerant and considerate. Please, I'm very happy to serve all of you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your valuable association, and we look forward for your association in future also. Yeah, let us pay our obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas.
Hare
Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam. Krishna.
Praise Vrindavan, Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat.
Dandavat. Radhe Radhe.
Krishna.